Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ranger's Respite. I'm Philip, and today is Wednesday. And that means that it's time for another Whiskey Library review. So, last Wednesday, I was supposed to review McCarthy's 6-year Pedro Jimenez Sherry finished American Single Malt Whiskey. Instead, I did Oak and Grist Origin. And I said that on Friday I'd review Clear Creek McCarthy's 6-year-old Pedro Jimenez Sherry finished peated American Single Malt Whiskey. And instead I reviewed Oak and Grist Descendant. And yeah, I'm going to do it this week. I'm sorry. I was having a little bit of fun. For those of you who have been watching the Blind Sample Showdown on Freedom Malts, which I genuinely wholeheartedly recommend. It's a great show. And you should definitely go back and watch last week's bout. It was between Adam Polonsky of Lost Lantern and Caitlin Bartolome, the master distiller for Hood River Distillers, which owns Clear Creek Distillery, which produces McCarthy's. And last week, Caitlin missed this. One of the samples was McCarthy's 6-year peated American Single Malt Whiskey finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. And she missed it. And that is horrible, but also she was going to guess that initially. No kidding, not exaggerating. That's what she wrote down as her guess before she changed her mind and went with a Cedar Ridge Pedro Jimenez sherry cask finished single malt. Oh, before I get too deeply into this, if you like these videos, you would like to monetarily support or more materially support this channel, I'm selling these ballpoint twist pens made from a cognac cask. It was used to hold cognac for 45 years before being used to finish a peated American single malt whiskey from the Pacific Northwest. If you know, you know. I'm also going to be selling, starting probably next month, merch to support the Virginia Whiskey Tournament. I made a video about that on Monday. You should check it out if you have a moment. Yeah, those are both ways that you can support me and support this channel and the Virginia Whiskey Tournament. Now, to talk about this. Now, this is beautiful stuff. This is bottle number 60. It's bottled at 56.13% or 112.2 proof. It is aged 6 years, finished in a Pedro Jimenez sherry cask. And this is genuinely one of my favorite American single malts. I totally missed giving you notes off the nose. So let's circle back around to that. On the nose, you've got a rich nuttiness, that nice, slightly briny, earthy smokiness, sort of like mineralic note. Like, imagine if you pried the cap off of your Flintstone vitamin gummy, or not gummies, like the chalky vitamins. They had all gotten crushed up in there. And you sort of held it up against an old school rubber Band-Aid that's starting to outgas some of the plasticizers. And then you throw in some grape skin sort of notes, and that's a lot of what the nose on this is. It's beautiful. There's some grape skin, wildflowers. A note that I frequently get on McCarthy's that no one else seems to get, which is like something like cantaloupe, except a little bit more fragrant, if that makes sense. On the palate. Oh boy. On the palate, it really has this like dense, oily mouthfeel. And then it's just like a like intense, tightly packed flavor bomb of like that, you know, almost syrupy sherry, specifically Pedro Jimenez sherry sweetness. Some of that like sugary sweetness, the mineralic note from, that is typical of McCarthy's that I think comes from the Quercus Gariana, Gary Oak, Oregon Oak barrels. Um, a light honey note, something like raisins that have been like, left out a little bit long, when they get like kind of sticky and like start to like swell up a little bit. Um, and all wrapped around it is this like mantle of rich, dense smokiness. And there's like a little bit of like black walnut in there, which may just be me. Now the finish is one of the best parts of this whiskey because the finish, because of how like oily and thick this is, it like coats the palate, coats the back of your throat, and you get this finish that goes on forever. And it's got all the highlights of that like phenolic oiliness that you expect from a peated single malt. That rich, intense smoke, the like iodine medicinal notes, and then you've got that uh crumbly Flintstones vitamins, um, and a note that sort of slides throughout, but really comes to the fore on the very tail end of the finish, which is something kind of like have you ever had like birch beer? It's got this like sort of herbaceous medicinal note that kind of pops up. And the only reason I'm thinking about that is because I have had it recently and it unlocks sort of a weird sense memory. This stuff is so good. It's hard to convey just how fantastic this stuff is because it is fantastic. No two ways about it. It is one of my favorite American single malt whiskeys, up there with the single barrel 701, the Oloroso finish, and the 10-year. Absolutely beautiful, phenomenal stuff. Now, we go ahead and ask and answer 3 questions. The first one being, do I enjoy this? Abso-fucking-lutely. Just beautiful stuff. Hands down one of my favorites. It is so rich and complex. And I say this about every McCarthy's Earlies that I've tried. This can go toe to toe with drams from the big dogs on Isla and hold its own. And that is an achievement in and of itself. Second question, do I think it's a good value? I think so. But, and this is the caveat, the prices have changed recently, and I think this is about $100 now, a little bit more than $100, I think. And I think that it's worth it. But if you aren't sure that you like peat, or you don't know if you would like peat and sherry, specifically Pedro Jimenez sherry in combination, this probably isn't the one for you. But ultimately, I'd say yes, this is a good value. Um, let's see. The third and final question is, do I recommend it? Absolutely. If you are a smoky Scotch lover, if you are a fan of any of the big smoky boys on Isla, this will do it. I genuinely, I really can't stress enough how good this stuff is for a peat lover. And I think it is entirely fair to say that it hits at or above its price range. Now, with all that out of the way, just really quick, just re-upping my if you would like to materially support this show, I'm selling these on Etsy. There will be a link in the description for those, and to my TeePublic store where I'm selling shirts and whatnot with my YouTube channel logo and an alternate logo. I'd really appreciate your support there. It will go to continuing this show and the Single Malt Frontier, as well as the Virginia Whiskey Tournament. Now, let's see what I'm going to be reviewing on Friday. We've broken the Friday Rye chain, which, understandable. So let's start by clicking Hide Choice, and we'll spin the wheel and see what we come up with. Ooh. This is good. Buenahaven Station, 9-year-old. This is from Signatory. It is way off over that way. So I can't reach it at the moment. Genuinely a fantastic dram. I can't wait to tell you guys about it on Friday. Even further breaking our Friday Rye Day streak. But it'll be worth it. Just heads up, later tonight, as of when this is going live to the public, I will be a guest on the Blind Simple Showdown. You guys will get to see me lose to the Whiskey Franco, but I will consider it a win if I get my goal of scoring 0 points. Now, people have told me that I've been doing a really bad job of that, but you've got to understand how it works. I can't throw the game because the bookies in Vegas will break my knees. I've got to make genuine guesses and still score 0 points. That's my goal. I will consider that a win. And every time I'm on increases the likelihood of me doing that. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, it's been great talking to you guys. It's been great drinking some fantastic whiskey with y'all. Until next time, stay happy, stay geeks. Sláinte.